Ready? Okay, we're real excited to start spring practice tomorrow. We've had a good off season up to this point, and like I told the guys earlier today, our emphasis in the spring is about development and competition. We're really going to have a chance this spring to slow down and to really teach. You know, last spring we practiced 4 times a week. This spring it'll be 3. We'll practice on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and it'll give us enough time to make corrections from the day before and slow down our install. And so really trying to really stress the development of each guy individually and team-wise as far as that goes. Do have some guys that will not be participating in the spring because of injuries. Jared Baker, Jarvis Ware, Quadric Bullard, and Reichert Casey will all be out on a limited basis. Malachi Lawrence, R.J. Harvey, and Terrence Lewis will be limited. So, but the rest of the guys are ready to go. Real excited to see the guys. You can just tell walking around the complex. I mean, they're ready to go. They're chomping at the bit. We've got a lot of our guys coming back from last year with some transfers that have a chance to be impact players. So a lot of excitement right now, getting ready for spring. Questions?
You kind of contrasted this spring to last spring. I know a year ago you were hiring a staff. You barely had a month before spring practice started. Yeah. Now you've had a culture build. You have your coaching staff coming back. Players know what to expect with the systems. How's it different this year?
Yeah, it's completely different. I mean, we didn't even know some of our players. We were getting to know our players on the practice field. Everything was accelerated. Like I said, practicing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, that's extremely tough. The good thing now is we know our players. They know us. Our foundation's been built. We have really good leadership. And so we really can accomplish a lot more this spring.
How has the strength and conditioning program been this winter? Was that different from previous times of strength and conditioning? Yeah,
there's no doubt. Coach Dawson's had a chance to. First of all, last year it was a little bit different what they've done in the past, and we've had 6 weeks to really help our guys, and a lot of them have gotten stronger, faster. Some of them gained weight. We need a couple to lose weight. So very strategic in that area, and just getting ready for spring and getting ready to go.
Gus, you had to bring in a staff pretty quickly last year before spring kickoff. Now your staff's been around for a year. Does it feel much different that way as well, having some of that stability on the coaching staff as well?
Yeah, there's no doubt. All of our defensive guys are back offensively. Chip Lindsey is back. I've been with me, 3 different times, so it feels very comfortable. Grant Hurd, we're very excited to hire him. He is from Hugh Freeze's tree, which me and Hugh are real close, so that's an easy transition. A lot of continuity. Like I said, from a player standpoint, they know what to expect. I think that's very important, from a player standpoint.
Coach, you finished last year on a high with the win against Florida, the state champions. What's next for UCF?
Yeah, we, of course, I felt like we were the best team in the state, last year, but our goals are a lot higher than that. I mean, our goal is to be the best team in college football, and that's what we're striving to do every day. Our guys understand that, and that's what we're trying to do.
The journalist who was killed yesterday in Ukraine, Brent, Renaud, I know he filmed here with UCF, the director. Just wondering, what are your thoughts about that, and what was your relationship like with him? Yeah,
Brent, first of all, is an outstanding individual. He spent a lot of time with our coaches and our players. You can just tell he is a true professional, and he just had that ability to connect with players and coaches. Did a super job. I mean, it's sad to hear that. Kind of caught us off guard. I think it did everybody yesterday, and we're just really, I told our team in our team meeting, and a lot of them got close to him, and we're just praying for his family.
Gus, you look quarterback position going into spring. How do you see it, and is it an open competition? Is it Mikey's team, or do you feel like there's going to be opportunities for everyone?
Yeah, it's open competition. Every position is going to be open. We're going to rotate those guys. The first week, Mikey will be the first one to trot out there tomorrow. Okay, but the first week we're going to give all 5 of them an opportunity to show what they can do. And then we'll kind of narrow it down as we go, and our goal is to have it in some kind of order once we leave spring. The good thing is we've got some very talented young men at that position, and that's a position you can't have enough depth at.
You mentioned Grant Hurd's name. What was your past connection with him? How did that hire come together?
Yeah, of course, we've known each other for a long time. Like I said, he was at Arkansas State before I got there. The unique thing about Graham, he's been with Hugh, and, Hugh Freeze is one of the best offensive minds that there is, but he actually coached quarterbacks before, and so he really understands the big picture. He's a veteran guy. He's a great developer. And he's a great recruiter, too. And, I was really looking for the right fit. We got a wonderful staff, and we're a real close staff. We do things together, look for somebody that didn't just look at it as a job, but looked at it as a team and a family. And he fit all the boxes, and so we're real blessed to have him here.
Coach, we already talked a little bit about this year versus last year. You've got a year under your belt, obviously. But at this point, I remember you talking about taking inventory of the players and looking into that. Now that you have foundation, what would you say out loud that the first step is going into the spring practice?
Yeah, we're just wanting to slow down. In spring, my philosophy's always been not to do a lot. It's just to develop a foundation offensively, defensively, and especially. But it's also evaluation period from a coach's standpoint, because as a coach, you want to play to your strengths. And so we're identifying what the strengths in all three phases that this team is going to be made up of. And most of the time in spring, you can figure that out. And so it's a combination of both of those, and putting people in different positions and kind of mixing and matching. So we'll be doing a little bit of that too.
Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste is really the only linebacker returning that has game experience. So how important will this spring be for that unit?
Yeah, and it starts with him, there's no doubt. He's the guy that played quality reps and played very well, and he's the leader of that group. And so this spring, here's the great thing about all the linebackers. They got opportunity, and that's what we told them. You seize the opportunity, seize the moment, if you want to play. So the good thing is we'll have a bunch of inexperienced guys out there running around, and hopefully by the end of the spring we'll have some guys that can help us.
I believe there were 4 or 5 early enrollees. How helpful is that coming in for the spring, and what have you seen from them, how they have adjusted to the college life?
Yeah, all of them have fit in very well. Of course, I knew they would. Our team, last year we had guys come in even late, some of them in the summer, and our team just embraced them. And so, the culture here is outstanding for transfers to come in, and all the guys have fit in extremely well. And like I've said before, I really believe there's some impact players that'll help us this year, and I think quite a few of them will play at the next level.
Gus, one of the trends that's gone on in football the last couple of years is bringing in coaches for analyst jobs. How important is an analyst for a staff, and what can you gain from that? Yeah. Maybe experience from someone who maybe was a head coach or assisted somewhere else.
Yeah, analysts, it's kind of different philosophies by the different head coaches, how they like to use analysts. Sometimes you can have too many people, all right, believe it or not. But really specifically, an analyst really helps. Like what I always like to do is have a defensive-minded coach be an offensive analyst and being able to look ahead and break things down. An offensive-minded analyst be with a defense and to game plan and to make adjustments, predict how teams are going to play you, how teams are going to attack you. And so that's really been good for us, and that's the way we do it.
So it's been it was actually a very deep recruiting class for you guys. Who would you say has stood out from a transfer standpoint?
Yeah, really, I can answer that question a little bit better once we're out on the grass a little bit. I'm excited about every one of the newcomers that came in here. We had an outstanding class, and we recruited guys to play. So how quick they can catch on really will be the question. So ask that question later in spring, and I'll have a better answer for you.
Coach, you had an open kicking competition down to the last week before the game against Boise State last year. Is that something you want to get nailed down earlier in the spring so you have consistency there?
Yeah, I think so. Or Barsky, he had his best game in the bowl game that we won. He really had a lot to do with that. So he's got a lot of confidence, but it's like anybody. We're going to play the best guys. And so we'll have competition. And I think competition brings out the best in everybody.
I know one thing people always talk about the offseason and things like, rule changes that maybe the length of games, games are now lasting 4 hours sometimes with some of these offenses. Is that something at the coach level you guys talk about, ways you can do to speed it up that, is better for TV windows and fan interest and things like that? Like maybe, having a running clock on, like the NFL and first downs and stuff like that?
I really don't get too caught up in that. I mean, just whatever the rules are, you go by it. I know a few years ago, way back when in 2013, the main thing I got involved in was, the RPOs. I don't know if you remember the time that is, college football is 3 yards downfield, and some coaches wanted the 1 yard downfield like the NFL. Now the same coaches are good with the 3. But that was probably the biggest fight. And I think me and Hugh Freeze were kind of lone rangers over here against everybody else, but we fought hard and they kept it. And I think that part of college football has really made it real exciting. Offensively, I know defense coaches aren't too fired up about it, but the offensive guys like it.
Obviously, recruiting, you guys have been recruiting for the last couple weeks or whatever it's been, but how much has the Big 12, the going into the Big 12, how much has that maybe helped you guys on the recruiting trail, and how have you been kind of pitching it maybe?
Yeah, it's helped a lot, as far as, the top recruits, and like I said, I've told this before, but so we battled that non-Power 5 deal, and other teams use it against us. We've out-recruited people, but we couldn't overcome the non-Power 5. So we don't have that problem anymore. So, I think it's a great time. I mean, I just think everything's coming together. We talked about the future of college football's here because everything's set up. We had the Big Bowl win, against Florida. Now we're going to the Big 12. We won 9 games. Everything's going up. We have a bunch of transfers coming in that can flat out play. Everything's coming together. So, I think recruits can feel it. When they come on campus, I feel like it's different here. And I feel like our staff is real genuine. I mean, they're not a bunch of used car salesmen like a lot of college coaches are. And I think the right type individual fits really good with us. And so I think that'll be a big advantage for us in the future.
Women's basketball team is playing Florida in the first round of the NCAA
How about
NCAA
that?
tournament.
Is that coincidence? That's good stuff.
What can you say about their team and your relationship with Coach Abe?
Oh, Coach Abe's the best. I mean, it's been so fun to watch. And, first of all, it's extremely hard to do what her team has done. I mean, to win the league outright, to win the conference tournament, and they're playing really good basketball. I texted her the other night that, y'all have got the it factor, and so I think going in the tournament, a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence, and I mean, she's a real basketball coach. And so her personality, you can tell the team is taking on.
As far as recruiting is concerned, is it going to always depend on the immediate needs of the roster for bringing in transfers, or are there certain positions that might, better suit the need for an immediate player, like the tackles, for instance, this year?
I think it starts with you have a need. Man, we need this position. We got to find this position. But I also think that if you have the ability to get a true impact player, and when I say impact player, like one of the top players in college football at that position, I think you take them. So it's not only the individual needs if you get a chance, because those impact players make a big difference.
Transfer portal can obviously, impact rosters in a big way. This past year, I think the NCAA allowed another 7 scholarships to be used. Is that something you like to see going forward, to have more? And you're still going to have the 85 limit, to have more initial counters per year, because sometimes you can't control, transfer portal.
There's no doubt. I mean, roster management, that's the hard thing, because you don't know how many people are going to the portal that you're going to lose and all that. As many as you can to replace, to keep you at a disadvantage. So yeah, that's going to be an ever-changing deal. And I've said this before, the teams that manage their roster the best will have an advantage, but those 7 will definitely help.
One more thing, I guess, since I got the microphone, March Madness, and you just talked about the women's team. Did you ever play basketball or high school or any background, or are you just a football guy growing up?
Yeah, I really love basketball. I love playing, and matter of fact, coached some AU basketball. At one time, I thought I was going to be a basketball coach, so but I love it. I love to watch it, and March Madness, it's as good as it gets. So I usually try to watch it a little bit. Now the challenge I have is, we're practicing, but I'll try to definitely watch some of that.
So when were you an AAU basketball coach? Was that
That's when I was in college. Okay. Yeah, when I was in college. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks, guys.